Hey y'all, Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA. Thanks for joining me. This video is an update on the Cornish rock cross meat chickens that we are raising during September and October of 2025. We like to be able to start our birds and grow them and finish them in the same building without having to move them during production. So we just start them with a small footprint for their brooder, and then we expand that space as they grow so that they can eventually have all the floor space in the building if they need it at finish. But in this video, you get an update on how they're doing and get to see them in their grower space. Thanks for joining us. Here's the video. Hey y'all, it's Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm, Southeast Ohio, USA. And we're looking at our last flock of meat production chickens here at our family farm. We're going to try to keep the farm in operation here at our home place, but we're scaling out of producing poultry from Cornish rock cross meat chickens. This is a group of about 409 now, I think. We've had a flock loss, I believe, of about 22 at this point since move-in day on September 11, 2025. We're out to September 26, 2025. So we start counting days from move-in day. They're doing pretty well. You can see we still have the heat lamps on here midday, and you can see that the birds are utilizing the heat lamps. Quite a few of the birds are utilizing the heat lamps. We do see some birds away from the heat lamps along the perimeter of their grower pen, and they're leveraging body heat where they're getting together in groups there, but the ones under the heat lamps are leveraging the targeted supplemental warmth for sure. So why are we seeing that? We know birds at this age want the temperature to be in the 80 degree to 85 degree Fahrenheit range, and we are currently seeing temperature of 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's why we're going to see the birds, at least part of the flock, definitely gravitate toward targeted supplemental warmth. We're having real field temperatures about 10 degrees below the real field that they actually want. So that is going to make them appreciative of supplemental warmth. And even though not all of them are using it, it takes the pressure off of the conditions in the pen. It lets the birds that want to find a microclimate away from the heat lamps do so, and it lets the birds that prefer the heat lamp warmth utilize that, and it doesn't overcrowd any one part of the pen. So it's nice to see the birds spread throughout the pen pretty uniformly. It's nice to see the birds with normal variants of activity. Some are resting, some are at feed, some are at water, some are exercising. So that's really good to see. Just normal chicken behavior from the flock overall. Another nice thing to see in this flock is we're basically seeing, at this point at least, a pretty uniform growth pattern in most of the individuals of the flock. Meaning we're not seeing some birds way bigger than the rest of their counterparts and some birds way smaller than the rest of the counterparts. We're basically seeing very similar sizes in all the birds throughout the flock. We're also seeing great mobility, great activity from the individuals in the flock, and we're seeing very normal behaviors from them that are age appropriate. They do become more sedentary as they go longer into production, and this group will go to the processor for butchering and poultry processing at approximately day 39, I believe. It is already set up. I just don't have my paperwork in front of me to double check it, but I believe it's day 39 that this group goes to the processor. The posturing between the birds is one of those behaviors that I'm talking about that's normal, typical, very age appropriate for where we're at on day 26. We see a lot of that, and we'll see more of that particular behavior as the birds go further into production, even though the overall trend as far as activity is to see them become less active and more sedentary. One of the behaviors that we will see more of is birds posturing at each other. And as we go on into production, we will notice that typically the birds initiating the posturing stances are males, and typically it is a male posturing at another male. So that's always interesting behavior to see from these birds. And that's also actually one of the driving reasons that we don't extend their production length out beyond 42 days. Typically, very typically in meat birds, you see that posturing stance and behavior increase. It kind of turns a corner sometimes from posturing to aggression as we see Cornish rock cross meat chickens go to 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks. It's been funny looking back over different times that people have asked us about advice on raising Cornish rock cross meat chickens, and they'll say those chickens are just mean, they just turn mean. And I'll say, are your chickens older than 6 weeks, and is the aggression coming from the males? And we're talking specifically about Cornish rock cross meat chickens, and they'll say yeah, exactly. And we'll say that's why we have them butchered at 42 days, at 6 weeks of age. So we just, preempt that whole drive in the meat bird's behavior. So they're finished for poultry typically by 42 days. So that's a really reasonable and appropriate time to schedule for having your meat birds butchered and processed into poultry. The Cornish rock cross meat chicken is absolutely capable of being finished for poultry in that 42-day window. Wouldn't go too much less than 42 days, and we prefer not to go over 42 days. So that's an update on this flock. They had a rough start and got delayed in shipping, caused an extended transit time that caused quite a bit of stress. So we had an initial heavy flock loss from that. But hopefully everybody that's making it is turning a corner and is going to be able to succeed through the rest of production. So we do hope to stay over 400. We hope to be taking 400 to the processor on October 20th, 2025. That's their processing date. So they ended up move-in date September 11th, 2025, processing date October 20, 2025, and current forecast of our future farm operations is that will be the last time we raise meat birds here at Twin Oaks Family Farm. So thanks for supporting us, y'all. Hope you'll continue to join us on the channel. Our video content is varied. It really has a lot to do with what's going on in our home life, family life, and we live a rural country lifestyle. We hope that you'll continue to join us. Thanks for supporting us. God bless y'all. Have a great day.